Part 1.
Did you catch the soccer game last night?
Yeah, it was disappointing, wasn't it?
It was more than disappointing. It was an outrage. It was so obvious that the French player faked that last injury, but he got a penalty kick for it and won the game. Surely the referee made a bad call.
Well, it's hard for the referee to see everything.
I understand, but if we all know that the referee can't be perfect, then why does his call have to be final? Why can't they use instant replay to help him if he misses something?
Well, I don't know. That might get out of hand, don't you think? I mean, every time something didn't go your way, you might demand an instant replay. The game would be interrupted constantly.
Well, it works in American football. Each team is allowed to ask for 2 instant replays per game. I don't think that would slow things down too much.
Maybe you have a point, but I think FIFA is hesitant because it'll be such a hassle to provide cameras in all the games, even the preliminary rounds. Some countries might have financial problems to do that. Plus, it could give rise to other problems like the number of cameras, their position, their angle, etc. How about putting an additional referee behind each goal, like FIFA's president suggested?
It may reduce some mistakes, but it's still not perfect because human eyes aren't as accurate as cameras. Putting more cameras in the game will be a much better solution.
Well, technology can help make the game fair, but I worry that we might lose the human value. Some people say that bad calls are just part of the game. Life isn't fair.
Life isn't fair, but sports are supposed to be.
Part 2.
Listen to part of a lecture in an art class.
The next movement in the art world we're going to consider is minimalism. As the name suggests, minimalism is or seems more basic than other types of art. Minimalist artists strive to reduce their work to the smallest number of colors, shapes, and lines in a rejection of abstract expressionism.
Was there a particular reason for that?
Well, minimalist artists wanted to essentially remove themselves from the art. They rejected the idea that art should reflect the personal expression of its creator. Now, the common conception of art is that it represents an interpretation of the real world, such as a landscape or a person, or perhaps that art reflects an experience such as an emotion or feeling. However, with minimalism, artists consciously attempted to objectify their subjects and avoid abstract representation. Their aim was to kind of invoke a response from the viewer based only on what was in front of them. So, minimalist art did not refer to anything beyond its literal presence. For example, color, if used, was non-referential. Dark colors represented only dark colors, and not some deeper, emotional, or philosophical mood. Basically, with minimalism, less is more. Minimalist artists didn't feel that by paring the work down to simple forms, they were creating a poorer experience for the viewer. Quite the contrary. They believed that they were creating the possibility for a more direct and pure relationship between the viewer and the work.
Part 3.
Okay, you may have heard of the Renaissance, meaning rebirth, and how it marks the time when the Middle Ages came to an end and the modern world began. It is mainly characterized by renewal in learning and culture. During this period, people were rediscovering Greek and Roman literature all across Europe. This in turn led into the humanist movement in the 14th century. Humanists believed each individual had worth in society. These two patterns, rediscovering literature from the past and understanding the individual's importance, were basic principles of the Renaissance, which lasted from the 14th century to the 17th century. The Renaissance had a strong impact on science and literature. The rediscovery of ancient texts led to progress in scientific knowledge. Leonardo da Vinci, Copernicus, and Galileo all made advancements by improving earlier thoughts on astronomy. Of course, da Vinci also increased our understanding of physics, techniques in sculpture, and anatomy. Copernicus revised earlier works on the universe, and Galileo invented the telescope. So, while scientists studied the heavens, authors studied people and society. William Shakespeare and Ben Jonson wrote about individuals' virtues and vices, good and bad habits. In France and Italy, authors and poets wrote about beliefs, heroes, and society, all of which are humanist values. So, greater knowledge and a heightened sense of human value created a period of progress. It is considered the time when Europe went from being considered backward, the Middle Ages, into a time of rebirth and progress. Europe took a huge step into the modern world. It was a significant time, as you can see.
Part 4.
You know what a black hole is, right?
Yeah, it's like a place in space where the gravity is so strong that nothing can escape from it, not even light.
Yeah. Do you want to take a quiz with me?
On black holes? Sure.
Okay, first question. If light can't escape a black hole, how do we know it's there?
By its effect on the things around it. Its gravity is so strong and it pulls in anything that comes near it. And when that happens, the thing getting pulled in lights up pretty bright.
Very good. Now you ask me a question. Here are the question cards.
Okay, let's see here. Aha! What causes a black hole to form?
Okay, well, you start with a star. Throughout most of the star's existence, it is in balance. What I mean is the force pulling things into the star, gravity, is the same as the force pushing things out, the star's internal pressure, just like our sun. So it stays the same size. But eventually, the star might run out of the fuel that keeps it burning. So now the balance is upset. The gravity is stronger than the internal pressure, so the whole thing collapses. Then you've just got this incredibly strong force of gravity, like you said, so strong that light can't escape it.
Very good. Now it's my turn.
Is the sun going to become a black hole one day?
No, it's not big enough. Black holes generally come from really big stars because their gravity is so strong.
Good. Now ask me one.
Okay. Wait, that's too tough. No. Wow, the rest of the questions are really hard.
Oh well, that's enough for now, I guess.
Part 5.
Today's lecture is going to be about a very well-known mammal that swims in the water. Any ideas what it may be? A whale? No. A seal? Sorry. Yes, it's a dolphin. Now, everyone knows that dolphins breathe air like we do. They can also learn tricks and love to play games. But I'm going to tell you 3 cool facts that you may not already know. Now, it is common knowledge that dolphins can communicate with each other using different sounds and body movements, though not exactly as we do. But do you know what dolphins and bats have in common? Both use echolocation. Now basically, that's the ability to make a sound which can bounce off other objects. By listening to the sound after it comes back off an object, dolphins can figure out many things about the object. They can determine its size and shape, as well as how far away it is, how fast it's moving, and even where it is. Assuming the object is another animal, this information can tell dolphins where food is and where to swim to avoid crashing into objects. The dolphins can even use these sounds to paralyze or stun small fish and squid. The sounds cause the fish to stop moving, so the dolphins can easily eat them. Okay, another cool thing about dolphins is how they help each other. When a dolphin is about to become a mother, another dolphin called an auntie will come to help. After the baby is born, the mother needs to carefully bring the baby to the surface of the water for its first breath. The auntie dolphin often helps the mother to do this. The final dolphin fact is about how dolphins help fishermen. Now, you know how dolphins like to swim near boats and jump for people. Well, in southern Brazil, they also let the fishermen know the best time to put their nets in the water to catch the most fish. There are documents which say the dolphins have been helping fishermen this way for more than 150 years. As you can see, dolphins are extremely intelligent and interesting animals. The more we study them, the more we learn.